Now, you said you were going to be completely open.
Well, it's just, I don't want to make him look bad.
Well, what was it in a month? Because there are people who are in a relationship right now with somebody and they know.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest. Okay, I'm gonna be honest. I found out.
Everybody go. Everybody go. Everybody go. Everybody go. Everybody go. Everybody go. Everybody go.
Hey everybody. Good evening. Good evening. How y'all doing? Good evening, everybody. Hi. It is so past my bedtime, but I'm up with you guys. Hi, everybody. Hi. Oh my goodness, I'm so nervous. I've been on pins and needles all day. But I hope you guys enjoy. Hi, everybody. Hi, I hope you guys enjoy. Oh, there's Auntie Craig. He didn't think I was gonna be on time. But just like my God, I'm an on time. He's an on time. Hi, Craig.
Hey, Oliver.
Well, I don't like this. Hold on. Let's put you somewhere else. What's going on, Craig?
What's going on? How are you?
I miss you. Why are you laughing?
I know I haven't seen you in a while, huh?
I know I haven't seen you since the show. In person, at least. I haven't seen you since the show.
That was the last time we saw each other?
Yes. In person. Oh, you know what? No. We all went out to eat that time.
I was going to say, I thought we saw each other after that.
We all went out to eat that time. I don't like
that.
Hold on. I didn't realize I was going to be lifted up like that. Hold on. This is why I started a little early.
I hate the way it cuts off.
I know. I don't know why.
They need to fix that.
Right. God damn it. Oh, well, it doesn't matter. I'll just sit back.
Yeah, I've been looking forward to this.
Huh?
I said, I've been looking forward to this.
I am nervous. I've been texting Craig all day. I've been like, Craig, I am so nervous.
I'm putting on my Hampton University journalism cap.
Really? So, Craig, tell everybody why we're doing this, what we're doing.
Okay, so I feel like Oliver is like a little brother to me. You guys know that he's a content creator genius. Oliver and I first met, of course, over at the Queen's Supreme Court. Oliver was just coming as a guest. He would just come and sit in the audience, and I never really knew who this loud queen was. I'll be trying.
Craig, you thought I was just a guest?
Well, before you started creating for the show,
Craig,
you were just...
I created the first logo and promotional video and flyers for the Queen's Supreme Court.
But see, I didn't know that at the time. You were
just...
Right.
Well, you know, bitch, I'm gonna talk freely because it's my story too. Shit, I was there. The day when her and Kaya broke up, she called me 2 days later on her way to go to Australia. She was like, bitch, I'm gonna revamp this whole motherfucking thing. What are you doing this weekend? I was like, I'm not doing anything. She was like, bitch, I need new graphics. I need a new video. I need new this. And that was really, when she called me with that was my first time doing a lot of that stuff. But like, I figured it out. Like, I just figured it out because I was like, at the time I needed the money to move. And all I think she knows is all that money, she paid me a lot of money that week.
You told me. You told me.
Oh, yes. All that money that I got helping her rebrand the show during that first week, that was the money I used to move into my apartment. Mm-hmm.
Right. So, you know, when I just knew that you were a person that was coming to the show. I didn't know that. And so then, you know, you started creating stuff for me, started creating content for me. And then me, you, and Madison started having more conversations, like on a call, you know, like a FaceTime call. You know, it would be more like business meetings and stuff, and we'd be strategizing together. And so, and like I said, you started creating content for me, and I would always sing your praises. I would always tell you how I did. I would always
you
tell
did.
you how
You did.
Huh?
No, you did. Somebody was doing it.
I was doing it. No, she wasn't doing it, but I was doing it. And so, you know, I would definitely tell you that I just thought that you were so gifted as it related to putting together all of the stuff that we were doing. And I used to tell you that, like, you have such focus, you have such laser focus. And for you to be so young, like you were what, 24 or 23 at the time? 23. And I was just like, you're so disciplined, you're so focused. And I said, this is going to take you far. And I remember telling you that, and I used to tell you that this work that we're putting on you, the stuff that I'm giving you, the stuff that she's giving you, and this turnaround, this quick turnaround time, I used to tell you, I said, I don't know what this is going to mean for you in 10 years or 15 years. I said, but I really can see you getting into film, and, you know, and when you get into those kinds of projects, all of this stuff that you're doing for us now is going to make sense. And you're going to understand, because this is going to be like a training ground for what's coming. And it's going to really teach you a level of discipline, and you're going to understand why you were prepared in the way that you were with these quick turnarounds and just being so spontaneous with what you were doing. And so I used to always, you know, champion for you. And so then when you got into this relationship, this is when we get into the skinny. And then when you got in this relationship, I was excited for you because you and I had our own little heart-to-hearts too. I knew you went to Morehouse. I knew you had graduated from Morehouse. And I used to tell you all the time, you remind me so much of my younger self. Even though you know, you have your good time, you have fun, and you do all that stuff, but you have this laser focus. You're about your business too. And I said, that's gonna make a big difference between you and these other little young gays that are your age, that they're having a good time, but they're not putting in the work to move themselves forward down the line. And so when you got into this relationship, I remember thinking, like, I wonder if this is going to be the thing that's going to distract him. Because, you know, sometimes gay men and women sometimes lose their focus when a relationship comes. And so you and I were still working on different things, but then I started noticing that, you know, you weren't really hitting my deadlines like you would in the past. And I'd be like, Oliver, where's my shit? Like, what's going on, you know? And you and I, on everything that we've done, I always come to you with an idea of what I want to see. But then there's an expectation that I have of you, and maybe I shouldn't have it, but I have this expectation of you as an artist as well, that when I give you my idea, you can take it and run with it. So I'm coming to you with an idea, but then you're going to take it to that next level. But then this last thing that we were doing, I just felt like I was pulling teeth, and I kept saying, well, Oliver, this is what I want. It just doesn't have this punch. And it's like you weren't picking up what I was putting down. And I didn't know that there was some stuff going on in your personal life. And so, and I thought that I had a pretty good gauge with you in terms of like what was going on. And you understand what I'm saying? Like, I kind of felt like you and I had enough of a rapport that I knew what was going on. Because the last time I had checked in with you, you were like, yes, I'm in love. You know, I've never been in love like this before. You know, I'm really happy, this, that, and the third. And I just believe, for all of you that are watching, I just personally, my people that are close to me, that I deem close, that I respect or that I love or whatever, I believe that we have to be, you know, people say I have to be my brother's keeper and all that kind of stuff, but I feel like when you're a part of my tribe or I'm a part of your tribe. And so I kind of felt like, you could have come to me and said, well, look, this is what's happening, this, that, and the third. But we didn't have that. And so it wasn't until one day I was on my live and I was just like, I have to call Oliver, da, 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 da. And they were like, oh, he had a breakup. And I'm like, wait. So I found out about the breakup on my live. And so I immediately got off the live. I text you. I think I text you. I don't think I called you. I text you. And because I'm kind of your elder.
Repeat that, please.
I don't really look like it, but I am your elder.
Definitely much so.
And so I had hit you up because I just believe that we have to check in with each other and just try to make sure that we're all good, right? Mm-hmm. And so I hit you up and was just like, hey, I didn't know that you had a breakup. Like, what's going on? And so the people on my live had told me that you had posted a video on your YouTube channel. So I kind of went and kind of skimmed through it a little bit, but I didn't watch the whole thing because I just felt like I know you. So I'm just going to reach out to you. So I reached out to you and you were like, oh, I'm good. Like, you just kind of brushed it off. And because I've lived a little and because I know what it's like to go through a heartbreak, especially a first heartbreak, especially when you say you're in love with a person, especially when you've made that person public and now you're becoming a more public person, a breakup isn't the same anymore. And so I knew that you weren't ready to talk, but I didn't really want to push you. And you were like, oh, I'm good, I'm happy, and just da-da-da. And it was just almost like you just wanted to just kind of push it to the side and you didn't really want to talk about it. And I didn't want to stoke you. I just felt like if the time was meant for us to have the conversation, we would have it. And so then you and I revisited the conversation probably a few weeks after that, and you kind of opened up some more and you told me a little bit more. And so the purpose of this conversation is for anybody that's going through a breakup to learn from this conversation and to learn to sit in it. I believe that you have to sit in the pain of it. And that was another thing. When I was kind of watching your social media, I was just like, oh, my friend is really trying to navigate this breakup. And because even if, I don't even know how to explain it to you, but I've seen that pain. I've recognized that pain. I've lived that pain. And so I was watching you and I was like, yeah, my friend is really trying to cope. And I could tell you were trying to figure it out. You were trying to navigate your way through it. But again, I just felt like if you wanted to talk about it, we would have talked about it. And so, we did talk about it some more. And so I just want you to be really clear. I want you to go through this breakup with dignity, but also I want you to go through it learning and grabbing all of the lessons. Because what can happen is, I personally believe, this is what I personally believe, that with every breakup, I don't care if it's a divorce or if it's an actual breakup or you've lived together or whatever, I really believe that there's a PTSD that can happen. I believe that there's a trauma that can happen as a result of a breakup. And you can start to second guess yourself. No matter how amazing you think you are, no matter how handsome or pretty you think you are, a breakup can cause you or cause us to second guess ourselves. And it can start making us question, well, am I as great as I thought I was? Because if I was as great as I thought I was, this relationship would have sustained. But it's not just about you. It's also about him. And it's about how both of you came together to make this relationship work. And it lasted and worked for as long as it was supposed to work. So now I want to hear from you, and then I'll just ask a few questions here and there.
Well, can everyone hear me? People can hear me. You can hear me, Craig?
I can hear you.
Okay, dope. I mean, to be quite honest, I've this is probably one of the few times in life where I'll ever be lost for words. I don't know where to start. I don't know where to begin. I've only really talked to like my close friends, my spiritual therapist, my emotional therapist about these things. So it is and probably will be difficult for me to kind of talk through this, but I have a strong belief that, as an influencer, as a person that makes my living off of people liking me and people supporting me. I think it's so important to be as transparent as possible. You know, the same way that I can post Tyra Banks called me, the same way I can post, you know, WeTV and, you know, all the other great things I love to share with everybody. I should be transparent and tell people, you know, not, you know, the not so great things, because I believe in helping people. I believe in educating people. I believe in living a life that is an example for other people to learn, grow, and be inspired from. So that's why I was like, okay, well, Craig was like, we should talk about this on live. And I was like, you know what, Craig, with you, who I absolutely love, you know, y'all have seen me and Craig go back and forth on social media and on the TV show. But I absolutely love Craig so much. I think he is so smart. I think he is so handsome. I think he's so nice. I just think he's a great quality person, and I always just like hearing him talk. So I was like, if there's anybody that I'm going to do this with, of course I'll do it with my good old Auntie Craig. So I'll turn it back over to you, and you ask your questions. I told you can ask me whatever it is that you want to ask me. I'm going to be 100% transparent about everything, my shortcomings, really mainly my shortcomings.
And that's important.
It's important to me because, you know, him and I, you know what, ironically, he texted me today.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, let's come back to that.
Yeah, but I never want people to think that I'm trying to like start stuff or bully or anything like that. Which is why when I did that first video, I was trying to be so careful not to, you know, whatever, because I do understand my position in having followers and people who, you know, enjoy me and have some type of, you know, protective energy towards me. And I never would want to incite people to, you know, attack him or tear him apart, because just as much as I have an experience, he has an experience, you know? And there is a level of care and respect there. And, you know, I never want to, whatever. But regardless, whatever you ask me, I'm going to be 100% honest. And my intention is to inspire and educate and release.
So when did you know that it was over? When did you know? Because I think there's always a moment.
You want to know the real answer?
Hold on.
The honest answer is,
I think when a relationship is still going, whether it's subconscious or conscious, we know that the relationship is over while we're still in it. So when would you say that it was over?
Honestly, after a month after we met and started talking.
You knew it was over then?
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm.
So what was it that kept you going in the relationship? Because let me ask this, because I have been in positions in my life where I have made poor decisions out of loneliness. And because I confused compromise with settling. There's a distinction between compromising and settling. And I think sometimes people settle because they confuse that with compromising. So what's your answer?
Well, I wanna talk about where I was in the space of when him and I started talking. So him and I originally met at the Queen Supreme Court show in Miami. And I'll never forget, Funky Dineva sent me to the bar to get him some Hennessy. And remember, I was there with Chase in Atlanta. I was filming with Chase in Atlanta. But you know, when I'm around Funky and when I'm around Madison, it don't matter whatever I'm doing to Funky, I'm always his assistant. To Madison, I'm always her cameraman, her daughter. They don't give a fuck what I'm doing, what I got to do. I belong to them. So anyways, remember, I was performing. I was opened up. I went to the bar. And I was going to go get Funky his Hennessy. And I remember this guy coming up to me with grills in his mouth. He smelled so good. And he came up to me and was like, hey, what's your name? And I was like, you know, my name is Oliver, such and such. And I remember, like, I just remember the energy of, like, trying to talk to me. And so I was like, well, give me 1 second. I need to go pee. And so when I went to the bathroom and brought Funky his drink, I forgot to go back to the bar and talk to the guy. And I never really went back. I forgot about it. So literally a year later, almost to the date, it's so eerie. I was with Madison at her house. We had just finished filming a spotlight session. And randomly, I was on my Instagram and like scrolling through, and I saw he had followed me. I didn't know who he was. You know when people follow you, sometimes you'll click on it, you know, just to see who it is. You know, maybe it's somebody I need to know about or follow back or, you know, whatever. So I clicked on it and I went on his page and I was like, oh, he's cute. Okay.
Did you
he's
remember
handsome.
him?
No, I didn't
Oh,
remember him.
okay.
So here I go. So I started liking his photos, and then he started liking mine back, and then he started like commenting my photos. So I'm the type of girl. If I want something or if I like something, I don't mind opening up my mouth and announcing my feelings. So I went in his DM and I was like, "Are you in Atlanta?" He was like, "No, I'm in Miami, but I tried to talk to you a year ago at the show, and you never came back and talked to me." So I was like, oh my God. I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Well, I guess we're boyfriends now. That was my response. But I was being, I wasn't serious. I was just, I was, yeah. So he was like, okay, cool. Run me the digits. I'll call you. So we started talking from that night. We instantly connected. Let me pause right fast. So at that point, I had a year before had been fired from my job. And then immediately, Chasing Atlanta came out. I became like a fan favorite. I was booked, I was performing, I was traveling, I was doing stuff. So my career had changed almost overnight. Simultaneously, that's when the Queen Supreme Court started happening. So I was with y'all all the time. Remember, I had to take my dog to my grandparents because I was always gone. And so I had to be like, how old was I back in 2019? This is what, 2 years ago? So I was 22 some parts, 23 the other part. And so I was traveling, I was gone, like I was with Madison or I was across borders, bitch. I was out, whatever. So January had came and it's like, okay, well, I'm a young adult now. My career is like going in the direction that I'm enjoying it. My money is good, life is good. I feel
So do
great
you
about
think because all of those things were happening that you may have ignored the signs? Whatever those
You know
signs.
what? I think why I was so receptive to it is because one thing that I did that I was struggling with was I was traveling by myself. I would be with y'all, but you remember I was leaving y'all and I was getting on a train going somewhere else or get on the bus doing my own thing. I was steady in motion. And so I would always come back home to my apartment. I'll be like, damn, I I'm bringing home I feel like I've gone to war and brought home all these trophies, but I don't got nobody to show my
So was
trophies.
this a poor decision out of loneliness? Is that what I hear you saying?
It was a poor decision out of loneliness and a whole lot of things that I do want to touch on because I really want to educate people. But I was in that spot, so it was a combination of I feel like I'm more of a grown woman. I want to share something with somebody. And then him and I just had such an instant connection. We're both from Florida. We both know some of the same people. We eerily knew someone the same music and show. We had so much in common. It was an instant damn, I feel like I've known you forever.
But the question is, here's the question that I would have asked you at that time.
Okay.
What shared life values do you have? Because see, I think people get caught up in, oh, we like the same music. Mm-hmm. Oh, we from the same hometown. Oh, his sign is this and my sign is that, and we're compatible. I think we get lost in that subterfuge, mm-hmm. and we sometimes miss what are his life goals. Where does you understand what I'm saying? Can we really mesh?
So, at the time, I honestly thought him and I had the same life goals. At the time, I was interested in growing with someone. Even though I had done all that cool stuff and, had been doing all the little cool social media kid stuff, I still didn't really think I was different. I still feel like I was still in a spot where, you still have to prove yourself. You still got to work. You're still in the grinding phase. And so I was like, I really want someone that I can, grow with and build with and experience life with. And all these things that I'm doing now, I want to have someone to share these moments with. And he echoed the same sentiments, about monogamy, having a family, starting a family, having a business. He's a dancer, a great dancer. And so I was like, oh my God, I'm a musician, I'm a creative. He's a dancer who was, done amazing things. I just felt like it was just, it felt right to me.
I'm gonna tell you something. That's cute. That's cute in your 20s. But see, your needs change in 30s and then definitely in your 40s.
Oh no, this shit has changed at 25. Let me tell y'all now. I'm talking about the old body back then, bitch. It's a whole new body right now. It's a whole new body, whole new mindset. I'm gonna let y'all know how I've gotten to this mindset. That shit ain't cute at all.
I'm gonna ask you this.
No.
So, like, I remember getting involved with someone a long time ago. Those of you that read my first book, you know the story with Ray something. I can't remember his name. The one that stole my winter clothes. So I would listen. I was dating this guy. I was, but this is one of the biggest life lessons that I learned as it relates to dating, and it was a very expensive lesson because that Negro went into my apartment in the middle of January and stole all of my winter clothes. But I learned from that. I grew exponentially. But my question is, or my point to you is, sometimes we fall into the person that's consistent and persistent. And that relationship with this guy that I'm telling you about, that dating scenario, it reminded me that just because a person is consistent and persistent doesn't mean that they're the one for you. Just because he's calling consistently, just because he's texting often, you still need to choose who you want to be with. Oftentimes we allow people to choose us, but you have to choose who you want to be with.
No, you're absolutely right.
So do you think that he was so consistent, and because he was so consistent that you just kind of acquiesced?
Yeah, but I really don't want to shun the connection that we have because it was, and honestly, Craig, it sounds so cliche, but I had never really had that type of like feeling on the inside for someone so instantly. The only other time I could think of was my college sweetheart. That was the only other instance where I was like, wow, I instantly just looked at him and started talking. And I was like, oh my God, like I really like you. And you know what, Craig? Another thing too that I'll get into. There were a lot of things going on that made me get into the relationship that I'll talk about that I only realized once I got out of it. Okay. But I also thought too, like, I don't think he knows this. I doubt he watches. But my college sweetheart relationship really hurt me that it didn't happen. You know, we both were going to Morehouse. Both of our families knew each other. Like, I really, really, really loved him. And while I don't really credit myself for being like the main reason why we broke up, there were a lot of things in hindsight as time went on where I felt like, well, damn, maybe I should have had a lot more patience, you know, with my boyfriend at the time. Because, you know, Craig, I've always been an overachiever. I've always been a very busy girl. I've always been active, doing stuff. You know, that's my judge. And my college sweetheart at the time wasn't as self-motivated, wasn't as, you know, resourceful. You know, he didn't have that same fire that I had. And that really attributed to us breaking up. I was like, no, nigga, you acting like a fucking bum. And I'm on campus, top of my department, performing, everybody like, you need to whatever. And for so many years, I was like, damn, what if I would have just been patient with him and like helped him and showed him and stuff like that. So when I met my ex, my recent ex, I was like, maybe this is my second chance to like do it over again. You know, don't be so strict. Don't be so regimented. You know, don't be so like, oh, he got it. You know, if he's speaking to the majority of the things you wanted, which at the time I wanted a friend, I wanted company, I wanted a partner, I wanted a consistent
company.
But it's one thing. It's one thing we have best friends that come over and you watch TV. Them hoes gotta go home. You know what I'm saying? But it's another thing when you have somebody that like you do everything with. Craig, don't judge me, okay?
I'm not.
Let's just thank God I'm figuring this shit out at 25 and not 45 like you, okay?
No. I figured that shit out. I'm thinking that shit out. Okay. So you said
I was like, oh my God, this is another opportunity for me to do what I felt like I missed up years ago.
Right. And I get that. Because I honestly do think that every relationship you should learn and grow from. And it really should prepare you for the next thing. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So you said you knew a month after y'all started dating that it wasn't, what did you know? You knew that it wasn't going to work? You knew why it was going to end? Or what was it?
I don't want to say.
Now, you said you were going to be completely open.
Well, it's just, I don't want to make him look bad.
Well, what was it in a month? Because there are people who are in a relationship right now with somebody and they know
Okay,
that.
I'm gonna be honest. Okay, I'm gonna be honest. I found out he had been having sex with other people. I found out that one of the people that he had sex with was his best friend. And I also found out that while oh my God, but you know what? That's the old body. I'm not gonna judge myself. This is my story, and it's helped me to be the person I am today so much better. I had, of course, talking to him, getting to know more of his story and like, you know, what he was going through at that time. I did start doing things that to me was of no like me doing it, it wasn't taken away from me. But I knew me doing it would help him. But I found out that there were other people helping him too. So I was like, the
You
whole
mean help
thing was,
financially?
yeah, mm-hmm. And you know what? It wasn't, dang it. See, okay, well, I've already opened it up. It wasn't like I was sending him money. I wasn't doing that. But like, I don't want to do this. Okay, I'm already doing it. No, it's done. It's done. Like, there would be moments where he would be like, you know, he didn't have food in the house. And, you know, child, I'm not, what's $20, $40 to me? You know
Well,
what I'm
let me
saying?
say this.
So it's just like, okay, well, the savior complex in me started like waking up.
That's that
And I
hero
do have a
syndrome.
big savior complex. And I want to, so everybody knows, and I told Craig this, while my relationship is the catalyst of all of this, I had a bunch of relationships going on at the time, family members, best friends, business partners, and we've since resolved our things, and I love her so much. But me and Madison at that time was going through certain things where my savior complex was waking up, and I was overextending myself to other people's needs and problems when I should have been doing so with barriers and boundaries and cutoffing and stuff like that.
And you should have been doing this stuff kind of so soon. Somebody in the comments said it's okay to help your man. Yeah, it is okay to help your man, but in 30 days, y'all were just still dating. I don't care.
You're absolutely right.
I don't care what y'all called it. You were just getting to know him.
No,
and
you're
so
right.
I just think, but see, that was one of those lessons that you learned, and you learned early on. Because that's not something, first of all, within 30 days, you need to go find your friends or your support system, because I'm not the one that's going to be helping you.
He didn't really have one, and I felt bad.
Well, then you should have turned a blind eye. That wasn't your responsibility.
Craig, I know now, bitch.
I know you know now. And it's important to say this because there are people that are dating right now. And this is one of the things that I say all of the time. I tell my female friends all the time, some of y'all do too much too soon.
Oh,
because
yes.
And this is not just women.
Too much too motherfucking soon.
Too much too soon. It's not just women, but gay men do it too, because you want to prove to that Negro that you are a ride or die kind of guy or girl. And so you do too much too soon. But no, you don't need to lead with money. You lead with personality.
What, Craig? It wasn't even proving to him, because to be quite honest, I don't got shit to prove to him, you know. It was more so, which I'll get into more, which, you know, we're on it right now. It wasn't until I broke up and I've been going through like these talks with my therapist, because I am talking to therapists. I am, trust and believe, because this breakup was very hard on me. A lot of the things that I was doing for him, I was subconsciously doing for myself, you know? And a lot of reason why we did connect also is that him and I shared a lot of common trauma. You know, a lot of common trauma with family, a lot of common trauma with past relationships, a lot of common trauma with friends, you know, social situations. It was eerie. Like, I was like, oh my God, I went through that too. And
so you were connected to trauma.
Connected to trauma. And I remember,
but see, you can't build on broken.
Let me finish. Let me get it out.
Go ahead.
Put a pin in it. I remember when a lot of people don't know my story when I came to Atlanta, or how I got to Atlanta. You know, I don't come from a poor family, but I also don't come from a very rich family. I did what I had to do in high school, turned out all the grades, turned out all the accolades, turned out all the social accomplishments, because I knew that I did not want to stay in Fort Lauderdale. And I also knew that my family was not in a position to financially help me. And unfortunately, which we probably won't get into today, you know, I don't have the best experiences with a lot of my immediate family. So I knew that me being an adult, remaining in Fort Lauderdale under these people, my life probably would not be good. So I needed to do whatever the fuck I needed to do to get out, which I did. I got scholarships, grants, money. I paid my own way through school. Shout out to Oprah Winfrey. Thank you so much. Thank you so much to Morehouse College for giving this Black boy a place to live and a place to stay. But I struggled a lot, Craig. I struggled so much, but I always just use fire and just, if I just keep going, I know it's going to get better. I know it's going to get better. I used to have this saying when I was in high school, I'm going to bite the bullet now so I can bite the grapes later and I'll never have to bite the dust. I used to say that to myself all the time. And when I met him, all I saw was myself. And I just thought about, you know, damn, if somebody was there, I wanted somebody there for me, you know? A lot of shit that I just had to figure out by myself, and thank God he gave me common sense and persistence and all this stuff to figure it out and weather it out. I was like, damn, I wish somebody was there for me. Damn, I wish somebody would have helped me. And again, remember, most of our conversations during this time is, you know, he wants to do better for himself. He has all these things and, you know, stuff like that. And so I was like, well, you know, doing this ain't gonna hurt me. You know what I'm saying? And I don't like talking about money, but Craig, doing that at the time, it's not gonna hurt me, but it'll help him. You know what I'm saying? It'll help him. So yeah, I was really, to sum it up, I was a lot of things in the beginning. I was doing it because I was seeing myself in it. You know.
Mm-hmm. So to that, I want to say you can't build on broken.
Mm-mm.
You can't build on broken. That's first. Second, when I was saying earlier that a lot of times people lead with money because they want to prove or whatever, I didn't mean that you were trying to prove to him. But sometimes when we invest in a person, like when we're trying to help them buy groceries and it's too early in the game, I think sometimes, because I used to suffer from this, I used to take those liberties and take those kinds of steps because I thought if I invested in you on the front end, that my return on that investment would be longevity, it would be monogamy, it would be the relationship that I was looking for.
I thought the same thing.
But that's not a guarantee for that. And so what you have to understand, and I think you do now, is while you wanted to assist him, it's one thing to help, to be a helpmate. It's a different thing when you're doing it for them. Because see, what good is your hope when their hope is to be who they are?
Oh,
so
I got words.
But I need to see you doing it. I can't.
It got worse.
And that's what I'm saying.
It got worse.
It got worse.
But again, at the time, while I understand that was not the right mindset to have, at that time I was like, it was so much shit going on at the same time. You know, I'm connecting him because I know I'm seeing a lot of myself in him. A lot of my trauma is being brought out, and you know, I'm subconsciously trying to like do something with it. He's reminding me so much of my college sweetheart, where I still have so much regret on, you know, not giving him a chance and not being patient and not being understanding, because now, you know, my college sweetheart is doing amazing for himself. He's in school, like he went to grad school, he's doing amazing. And so like I'm thinking like, you know, if I, you know, like you just said, if I do this on the front end, it'll come back to me in the back end. Yeah. Which it is gonna come back to me in the back end, because Evangelist Betty White said God is gonna bless me for loving you. So I know it's gonna come back, but it just didn't come back in the way that I thought it would.
Right. And here's the thing too. There's a thing called karmic energy. You know how you believe in karma? Like what you put out comes back? That's what I'm hearing you say is you thought that this relationship was going to absolve what didn't happen in that college relationship. You thought it was going to clean up that karmic energy. And I do believe in that. I definitely believe in that. But it's just, what I think you also understand now too is every relationship that comes into your life is designed to mirror you. So when you said y'all had these collective traumas that you shared from your childhood, and if you saw yourself in him and all that good stuff, you're always going to mirror, but you want someone that's going to come to you as whole as possible. We all have our little broken pieces. Mm-hmm. We all have our previous traumas and things like that. But you want a person who's going to come to you as whole as possible. They're already doing the work on themselves. And yes, your stuff is going to come up. Your stuff is going to come up. His stuff is going to come up. But you want somebody who is doing the work to manage their own stuff. Because one of the problems that I had in previous relationships, I was trying to play therapist. I was able to see the traumas in these guys. Either they were broken up about their sexuality, they couldn't accept their sexuality, or they were broken up because they had horrible relationships with their parents, or they had been molested as children, whatever it was. I was trying to play therapist. And see, this is why it's important to sit still and be single for a while until you clean up that stuff, right? Because what will happen is you'll continue to repeat the pattern. You'll continue to date that same person. It'll be a different person, but it'll be the same person. And so you have to clear that stuff out, because otherwise you'll keep making the same mistake.
And you know what? I was going to wait till the end to get to this, but I'll talk about it right now. You know, I didn't really know, Craig, how much trauma I was really carrying around from my childhood. Because I think oftentimes people think trauma manifests itself as having a bunch of sex, doing drugs, drinking alcohol, partying, being angry, all those other things. But in my case, trauma manifested itself through, Craig, I had so many toxic relationships around me that I knew wasn't right. I'm trying to verbalize this the right way so that people can understand, and maybe you hear me talk about it. Through my recent therapy and stuff like that, one of my therapists asked me, "Have you ever been molested?" I said, "Yeah, I've been molested before." She said, "Really? You sound okay about it." I said, "Yeah, I mean, it happened and such and such." She said, "How many times has it?" She asked me. Her question was, "How many times have you participated in sex that you did not agree to?" And immediately, I could just think about the one time when I was a child. She said, "Think about it again." And you know what, Craig? I realized that between the ages of 4, all the way, how old was I last year? 24? From the ages of 4 to the age of 24, I counted 9 times.
Wow.
And so, with that in mind, and as well as I don't have the best relationship with my father. My father was a drug addict. My father tried to kill my mother out of like a druggy rage that kind of separated the family, you know, me from my father's side, and, you know, sent me and my mom back to Fort Lauderdale. But I always remember knowing this story, and for some reason growing up, I just always felt obligated to say, "I love you," or "I'm so happy to see you." And while I love my mother, I love her so much, and my mom did a great job. And I know my mom has her own trauma and her own struggles. You know, there is a lot of emotional abuse between my mother and I. There's a lot of physical abuse between my mother and I. And so with all that abuse that I was just packing on and just okaying, I realized in my adult life that I had become a connoisseur of toxic relationships, where I told people it's okay for you to do whatever the fuck you want to do. It's okay for you to treat me however the fuck you want to treat me. It's okay for you to do all these things because I'm just going to be okay with it. And I realized that I wasn't realizing my own worth. I wasn't taking care of myself. I wasn't protecting myself. I wasn't having my best interests at heart. I wasn't really loving myself. And I'm thinking, you know, I'm looking at the mirror, bitch, I think I'm fly, I'm confident, all that other stuff, but that's only the surface of loving yourself.
Behind the mask.
That's right. Are you placing yourself in situations that are beneficial to you? Do you have people around you that love you? What are you allowing? What are you tolerating to be done to you? Are you exposing yourself to healthy things socially, financially, spiritually, physically, all these things? And Craig, I was not. And when I met him, the only thing I wanted was somebody who was nice to me, I can have a good time with, and then I can trust. I wasn't even thinking about everything else, because for so long in my life I had normalized that type of shit, and it was okay with me because Oliver's happy, which I am a happy person. I am a happy person. Like, bitch, I ain't. Now, I want everybody to think I'm around here. No, the smile y'all see, the energy y'all feel is very so much true.
Right.
But I was still a connoisseur of so many toxic relationships, Craig, where I was just letting people do the fuck whatever. Y'all saw it with T.S. Madison, and I love my gay mother. I love her so much, and I respect, love, honor, give her, sing her praises. But Madison was doing a lot of shit financially to me that, girl, was not right. And I knew it wasn't right, but it was just like, I mean, okay, cool. I guess
Because
we figured it out.
You had fostered those kinds of relationships from your father, your mother. And so it was natural to you to embrace those kinds of friendships. Mm-hmm. And this relationship sounds like.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Definitely.
So how long did you end up together total?
Let's just say a year. A year.
So a month into it, you
knew.
Yes,
I knew. And that night when I found out all that stuff, I was really done.
My question is, what did you tell yourself to continue on? Because you just said you were done, but clearly you weren't done. So what did you tell yourself to make it okay that he was sleeping with other people, that you were having to buy him groceries and shit? How dare you sleep around on me and I'm buying you groceries? So what did you tell yourself to make it okay?
It's so dumb. It's so dumb. But I told myself again, I was like, damn, if this was me, and I don't want to paint a bad picture about him, like he was just doing stuff. He did do it, but in the moment, I did get a great sense of remorse from him. I did, at least I did. I could only tell what I felt in the moment, and I don't want to discredit him in that way.
So did he do it again?
Huh?
So did he do it again? After this moment of remorse?
Oh, yeah. In different ways later on, but yeah. Uh-huh.
So he wasn't really remorseful?
Yeah. But in the moment, before we fast forward months later, I was like, forgive him. Because bitch, you gonna fuck up one day and you gonna do something that you may be sorry about and you gonna want him to forgive you. So just forgive him. Again, I'm thinking about, don't be a bitch, don't be stringent, don't be, whatever. Like, you have a connection with this guy. He made a mistake. He made a mistake. He said he's realized it's a mistake. He said he's not gonna do it again.
So when he did it again, what was the conversation like that time? Was
months
he
later?
Remorseful again?
Months later? This is months. This happened recently, like this year. And the situation. Craig, let's wait. Let's wait as we go through stuff.
I may not remember that question to come back.
Okay. So what happened again was with the best friend in particular, we had kind of like tussled with like me feeling comfortable with him talking to him.
Because they had messed around before.
Right. Mm-hmm. And eventually I just, I was like, you know what? There's no need to fight it. And I'm going to say this, I did a lot of conceding, Craig. And that was definitely one of the biggest fucking dumbest things I could have done was I kept conceding. I kept backing down.
That's why I said earlier, there's a distinction between compromising.
Yes, like I kept, like when shit was fucked, and like in hindsight, nigga, it's either you gonna stay here or you wanna go talk to the friend. Honestly, well, actually, first of all, fuck it now. After if me and a man have established a conversation and agreement about what the situation is, and he shows me that he cannot do that, nigga, you got integrity issues that you gotta go figure it out. Let me move out your way, baby, because you gotta go figure that out.
Those are those boundaries.
Basically what happened was I had kind of okayed him to talk to his friend, because a lot of my ex's issues too was he was in a new city, and he used to tell me, like, he felt like a part of him, he wasn't really connected to a part of him, and I sympathized with it because it made sense to me. Like, you're in a new city, we've been in a pandemic, you're around a whole new group of people, shit like that, all the other stuff. everybody involved, all the adults in the room know what we got to do. Okay, cool. And so I had told him he could talk to him. And so one day, I was like, let me see your phone. Let me see your phone. And he sat right there. I went to the phone and I gave it back to him. I didn't say anything. I said, I just wanted to see your phone. And so before he came to work, he came back out. He was like, I just want to tell you that name you saw in the phone that I had changed was really my best friend, and we were having a conversation. And he was telling me things, and I just didn't want his business to be out there. And so my response to him was, I had already okayed you to talk to him. Like, why did you feel the need to change his name and all that other stuff in your phone? And like, that was like another one of the final moments in our like closing months. I was like, yeah, like, and he was like, well, I just didn't want you to feel away. And I was like, well, how the fuck am I going to feel away? Like, we've already had the conversation, agreed on it, but now you're doing something contrary to what we said, but now you're making me responsible for it. No, it don't work like that.
Right.
So yeah, that was me saying about it happening again.
So one of the things that I had to learn, what I wanted to say earlier too was, that's why it's important to sit still until you clean out whatever your traumas are, your childhood stuff, your previous relationship stuff, that baggage, because you're able to see yourself and you're able to be clear about what you want moving forward. Mm-hmm. For me, one of the things that I realized was, if I'm capable of setting a certain standard in my relationship, then I expect the person that I'm with to be able to do that. I'm not in the business of policing you. I don't want to be with somebody that I have to go through your phone, or I have to, check on you to make sure you're okay. I need to know that you're going to be who you are when you're with me and when you're not with me. And I think sometimes we kind of have this, and I say we, I just mean people. We have this thing where we think that, well, let me go in another direction. First and foremost, I believe that monogamy is possible for some people, but it's impossible for others.
Oh, I think I believe that.
Wired to be monogamous. I think I'm wired to be monogamous, but I do think there are people who are not. And I think what happens is sometimes we meet these people, those of us that are monogamous, we meet these people that are not monogamous. And we know they're not monogamous, but we try to train them on how to be in relationship with us. Mm-hmm. But when you know that a person is not monogamous, that's not the way that they're wired, then you need to understand going in that there's a chance that they're not going to be faithful to you. And you can't take it personally. That's just not who they are. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Agreed. I agree. Let's keep moving forward. This is good.
Okay. So you ignored your intuition, because I believe your intuition is God speaking to you. So you ignored it, even though you knew that you should have let it go. You should have walked away, but you kept going. So when did it just get to the point where you were just like, okay, enough is enough? Was it mutual? Was it his end? Did he end it? You ended it?
This last time? Since January, since January of this year, we have been like going back and forth. We'll be cool, then we'll be off. I'll be like, nigga, go. He'll be like, bitch, I'm leaving. But this last time, he was like, he wanted to go back home because he said he needed to do some things for himself. And when I heard him say that, I was like, yeah, I'm not going to really fight you. I'm not going to really make it a thing. And you know what, to be so honest, this breakup, Craig, has been the hardest thing that I have ever gone through in life. And for a long time, I know God gave me the power of discernment, which is why I kill myself slightly. Like, I want to go in a time machine and go back and knock myself out, because it's like, bitch, you knew, like, you felt all these things. That's the gift God gave you. Mm-hmm. But I felt a death coming. I didn't know if my mother was going to die. I didn't know if my grandparents were going to pass. I didn't know if one of my best friends or somebody I knew close to me was going to pass. But I felt just on the deep. I was like, Eddie, you're going to lose something. Like, you're going to lose something. And because the only person who's ever died close to me was my great-grandmother when I was in high school. But she was older, so I knew she was going to pass. And I've had, you know, friends, classmates pass away, but I've never had something like near dear to me that I see every day or that I talk to be taken away from me. But something had dropped down in my spirit, like, you're about to lose something, young man, because I will say, starting in 2020, I felt this internal tug inside of me that, like, God was calling me to higher places, and that there were some things that I needed to learn and experience. I've been feeling it. And I just knew it was time for me to grow up. You know, for a long time, I've been bebopping around here like a little doe-eyed little girl, just happy and just like everybody's getting along and we're all friends and family and this is a big, nice world and it's Skittles and rainbows and nothing bad happens. And I just knew something was telling me on the inside, God was telling me on the inside, bitch, it's time for you to wake up. Like, it's time for you to pull it together. And slowly over the past year, hopefully we can get into some of it. Slowly over the past year, certain things have just been revealing myself that have made me grow up and have come to a place where I would never make those same mistakes again. Never, ever, ever fucking again in life. Because this shit is so difficult, Craig. Like, this is the hardest thing I've ever gone through. Professionally, I'm a content creator, but through content creation, I'm known for fixing other people's shit. People come to Oliver and they're like, Oliver, I got this idea or I got this something, help me put it together. So I'm used to fixing people's stuff and I thought I could fix mine. I thought I could fix his and it just, you know.
But what do you mean when you say I'll never make these mistakes again? What do you mean?
I will never, well, I now have boundaries and expectations for the people who want to be a part of my life. Whether you want to be a part of my life as a friend, as a business partner, as an associate, as a coworker, as a boyfriend, as a family member, as a mother, as a brother, as a grandmother, everybody has expectations now. And I now am not afraid to speak up for myself. Like, people think that moment on the T.S. Madison experience, I honestly had to leave Craig because I had never done nothing like that before.
Right.
I had never stood up and told somebody, no, you're dead ass wrong for what you're doing. You're not going to sit here and try to convince me of otherwise. And I'm gone. Like this, no. So I don't mind standing up for myself. I don't mind taking myself out of situations or away from people that I just know that are not good for me or are showing me signs that they have integrity issues, that they have trust issues, that they got some trauma that makes them react weird ways and shit like that. Craig, I don't play that shit no more.
But see, here's the thing. It's important to understand two things. Yes, it's important to set boundaries, but you can't control whether or not people respect those boundaries. The only thing you can control is how you respond. So I can
control my 2 damn feet on whether or not I want to stay around while they're doing all this. And once they show me that they're not doing it, bitch, I'm gonna get my things and my dog, and we're gonna keep on trucking. And maybe if destiny realigns us and you got it right, we may be cool. But
that's one thing. But the other thing that we have to learn too, though, is that sometimes the answer isn't always to run, because sometimes it's our own previous trauma. So for what I'm saying is, so let's just say you get into a relationship a year from now, 2 years from now, and something may feel familiar, like something that happened in this last relationship that you had, but it may not be the same thing. It could just be your reflex, emotional reflex. It could be your wall coming up. So it's important for you to be able to distinguish between the two. That's why I'm saying it's important to really sit still, to really get to know yourself, and to know the difference between your previous trauma and your previous baggage and an opportunity for you to grow in the relationship that you're in, because it's not always the end. Because like you may get in a relationship a year from now, and you may have a guy that he's about his shit, but then he may fall on hard times and he may look at you and you may have to carry the load financially. But you can't dig your feet in the ground and be like, oh no, I've done this shit before. It's not the same thing. You understand
if he's showing me that even while he's down, he's working and he has a get up and go get it type of attitude about it, then of course, by all means.
Right.
Like I said, I'm in therapy. My spiritual center is so much stronger. You know, I really realized I had really let my spiritual foundation just deteriorate over time, and I did not realize it. I did not know that that had happened. I'm not a bitch, Craig. I'm still a nice person, but I feel like now, and I know it's going to take time, it's going to take experiences, but I do feel like now I have a greater sense of realizing, okay, well, maybe my love, my energy, who I am, can't really fix this or be a part of this. Let me move myself out of it before it begins to get toxic, before it begins to change who I am as a person, because I did change a lot as a person when I was in that relationship because of all the things that were going on that I did a lot of shit that I regret. Like, damn, bitches, this is not you. So I have a greater sense of when it's time to go, when it's time to, you know, separate, when it's time to let me back away a little bit, when it's time to, you know, whatever.
Mm-hmm. One of the things too that I want, like when I was watching your, you know, remember that day you posted a picture with you and Scott, and I commented, I was like, now wait a minute now, because sometimes I think that.
Kurt, you thought I was serious?
No, I was hoping you weren't, but this is where I'm saying, see, sometimes a breakup can cause us to lower our inhibitions, because like we're in pain. It's an emotional pain, right? And so sometimes, in order to get over that pain, we pacify the pain. Some drink, some do drugs, some people try to go have sex with other people, trying to move through the pain. But you have to be patient with the pain. And what I didn't want you to do was to try to pacify the pain by going out and sleeping with other people. Because there are a lot of people who believe that the way to get over someone is to get up under somebody else. And I think that is the most dysfunctional thing to do. That's when you're supposed to get really centered and really get by yourself and really get still to make sure that you're clear about the choices that you're making. You know, the next steps.
Mm-hmm. One thing I do pride myself on is from day one, I knew that I didn't want to be in this type of pain again, at least not through this way. And so when I began my healing, which was the next day, next day, I was like, you can't run from it, you know? And I'm not really a drinker, drugger type thing. You know, I'll eat my gummies and, you know, drink my, you know, my alcohol and shit like that. And with my sexual history, I'm definitely not just excited just to, you know, do all that.
Right.
But I did say I was going to have to sit in it. And, you know, Craig, it wasn't until one day when I came home from brunch and I was with one of my girlfriends and she drove through downtown, and only thing I could see was the first picture I posted of him and I, or at least one of the first pictures I posted of him and I, when we were in the park. I had just found out that I was going to be on the T.S. Madison experience with a contract, and I was getting paid, and they told me how much I was getting paid. And so I was like, oh my God, I need to work out. This is going to be a great experience. And I remember, what'd you say?
No, I'm just laughing. Go ahead.
And I remember him and I going to the park, and it's a picture of where he's sitting down, and I have him in this waist trainer, and I'm standing behind him, and everybody was like, oh my God. So I'm driving past, and I'm seeing the picture being taken. And Craig, when I got home, I just let it out. I've never in my life cried like that ever over anything. And well, Craig, I had to let it out. I had to feel everything I was feeling. I was feeling hurt. I was feeling betrayed. I was feeling lied to. I was feeling embarrassed. I was feeling stupid. I was feeling alone. I was angry. I was sad. And I was like, well, girl, if this is what you're feeling, go ahead and feel it. But I was I was on my floor. It's funny now. I never made it to the bedroom. You've been to my place. You know the kitchen is right by the door. You know the little space between my island, Craig. I was just on the island, just cry. I fell asleep right there.
Yeah.
Fell asleep crying. And when I finally did that release, every day after that just felt so much better. Of course, with therapy and, you know, all the other stuff, but every day just felt so much better. So much.
Well, here's the thing that I remember the first time I experienced something like that. When I first started dating guys, I was 22. I was 22 years old. And it was about at 30 that I had a revelation, right? This is why I say it's always important to kind of sit still and just be in that quiet space, right? And not just after a breakup. I mean, like sometimes your friends may hit you and be like, hey, let's go to brunch. Sometimes you just need to be like, no, I need to get centered. I need to get back to me. I need to put some things in perspective about my life, my career, whatever. And so I remember being in my 20s and I remember experiencing like that first kind of like heartache. And a friend of mine was like, well, come on, let's get out. Let's go out. Let's go out. Let's take your mind off of it. So I remember we went to the club. We bounced around to a couple different clubs. And then by the time I got home, and I remember he and I had a conversation about it, that by the time I go home, I'm going to be exhausted. So I'm not going to be up thinking about it. I'm going to go right to sleep, right? So I did. I got home and I went straight to sleep. But then the next day, I called my same friend. I was like, hey, let's go run the streets. He said, you need to sit home tonight. He said, now you need to sit in it. You need to process. And I say all that to say a lot of times people want to run, but you got to process it. You know, you need to feel it all. And then around the time that I turned 30, I realized that from the time that I was 22 and I first started dating guys and the time that I turned 30, I never had more than 1 year single. So I would date somebody and we might date for 6 months or a year or whatever, but it was never a year between the next one. And I said, I got to catch my breath. Like, I really need to sit still. So after my last relationship, which ended in 2011, I said to myself, I made a promise to myself, I need at least 2 years of being single because I knew what it was like to be single for a year. But clearly that wasn't enough time because I was still making poor choices. I got to the point that I didn't even trust my own decision making when it came to dating. I was clear about everything else, my career and all of that kind of stuff. But when it came to dating, I just wasn't confident in my choices. And so I needed to sit back. And so I ended up being single for 9 years. 9. Because I really need to figure out what is it that I want? How do I want to move differently? And I think a lot of times we go into relationships thinking about what we're going to get out of the relationship. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But what I started to ask myself is, what is it that you're going to bring to the relationship? What kind of, and I don't mean like bringing money or nothing like that. What value are you going to pour into somebody's life? And that was what I anticipated. And that was what I expected. Go ahead. No, go ahead. Let's keep going. So for me, I just got to a space where it was just like, not only do I want somebody to bring value to my life, but see, I make my own self happy. A lot of times people say, oh, I just want somebody to go to the movies with, somebody to go to dinner with, and somebody to spend the night with, somebody I can sleep with, somebody, if I'm a little short, they can give me a little money towards the rent or the phone bill or whatever. But that anybody can do that. Like, what's the next thought? What's the higher thought? And so for me, it was like, what value can I bring to somebody's life? And how do I want to pour into my life? You know, it wasn't just about commonalities. Yeah. Oh, we like the same color, we like the same music. And I think we get distracted with that. Those things are surface level things, but I need to know that on those days where I'm not chipper, I'm not glowing, I'm not in the best mood, that you're still gonna love me. I need to know that when I'm not looking my best, when I need to get a haircut or whatever, you're still gonna be right there beside me. You know understand what I'm saying? Like I knew that I wanted a partner. I didn't want another boyfriend. I had boyfriends. I was ready for a partner. And so at that point, my interest changed, which also contributed to the 9 years of me being single. Because what I will tell you is, quality, well, let me go back another way. Being a person of substance that has value and is going to bring value to a relationship, and I don't care if that means if you own your own house, you got your own career, you got a degree. When you're a person of substance, sometimes the consequence of that means being single just a little bit longer, because you're not going to put up with the same shit that the basic kids are going to put up with. Like, and so, and it sometimes feels like a punishment because you're like, well, what's wrong with me? Like, I'm this, I'm that, you know, I got this going on for myself. But sometimes being a person of substance, a person of quality, means that you're going to be single just a little bit longer because you're not going to take the shit that's just coming off the street. I need you to come here. I need you to meet me right here and stop lowering the bar. Don't lower the bar. And a lot of times we tell ourselves, oh, well, maybe I'm just too high maintenance. No, fuck that, because the one is going to rise up to where you are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes, I so agree. I agree.
And you don't have to make excuses. I stopped making excuses for Negroes years ago.
Yeah. Oh, God.
I'm not making excuses for anyone. You know what I mean? If I'm capable of being monogamous, then I expect that from you. And if you can't be that, then I need you to tell me that, and then I can govern myself accordingly.
Yeah.
So did you want to touch on the best friend situation too? Because I believe that what happens though, and Lauryn Hill said this on her Unplugged, that MTV Unplugged, sometimes we have to do some dying. And when we do some dying, we shed people around us. And that's just not just about success. I think that sometimes we tell ourselves, well, I'm just going to the next level and everybody can't go. Yeah, that's true too. But I think that the things that happen right here on the planet, in the physical realm, parallel things that are happening in the spiritual realm. So, for example, in the physical realm, right here on earth, you and old boy broke up because of this, and this. But those reasons paralleled what God wanted you in the spiritual realm.
Oh,
the only way that you could get to this level of growth is for you to have gone through those things with him.
Now listen, and that was something I was going to say earlier. While, you know, we're talking about all the humdrum things that I could have done better and stuff like this, y'all, there's a lot of opportunities, I'll just say now, that I've been blessed with and in talks with and stuff like that, that Eddie 2 months ago wouldn't have been able to handle, wouldn't have been able to, you know, to talk my way through or sit down, chin up, looking at these people like, no, I can't do that. No, I cannot. Or yes, we can do that. Or how about this? Or stuff like that. And even, you know, I've developed a lot of friendships because I'm not dating anybody right now. But I do have, you know, new male friends that, you know, that keep me company and stuff like that. And I'm not saying, you know, they're just, you know, it's just friendships. But there's been a lot of great things, Craig, that have a lot of great things that mean so much to me, and that I really hope God moves on and does, because I really do feel like it's going to change my life that I wouldn't have gotten if I was still with him. And a lot of the confidence that I have and the ability to, again, protect my boundaries, protect my barriers, that verbiage, that attitude, that way, in these new conversations, if I hadn't gone through those things, I wouldn't have been able to, you know, X, Y, and Z. You know, I'll keep using Madison only because that's the one that everybody saw on national television. But if I didn't have that moment with Madison and, you know, we were able to get through that, there's been a whole bunch of partnerships, operations that have gone through since then. Bitch, I've done work with Sephora, McDonald's, X, Y, and Z. And they're like, hey, Oliver, can we work with you? Yes. What is this y'all talking about? X, Y, and Z. Okay, well, no, I can't do it. Okay, well, how about this? And y'all have seen McDonald's posted on my page, and, you know, friendships, relationships, whatever. I don't talk the same. I don't act the same. I don't react, you know, whatever, because I'm in this new space of just.
It was all designed to grow you. It was all designed to grow you. And the thing that I want to say to you, the thing that I want to leave with you is take your time. Take your time moving to the next thing, right? The next relationship, the next situationship. Just take your time. Don't punish yourself by putting yourself in another bad situation.
Oh no, Craig. I'm really focusing on myself. One thing about the relationships I lost and how I knew everything was divine, y'all. I tell y'all no fucking lie. I tell y'all no lie. In all those relationships, the one with my ex, the one with my best friend, the one with my mother, which has gotten better. We're back on talking terms.
Okay, well, good.
I remember distinctly in each situation where God told me, Punk, no, let it go.
Yeah.
Let it go.
Mm-hmm.
This is not good for you. This is not healthy for you. This is toxic. Let it go. And ironically, Craig, all 3 of those relationships ended on the same day this year. They all ended on the same day. I tell you no lie. He was the first one that happened, then my mother, and then out of the blue, non-associated with the things that had happened early on that day, I had a conversation with my best friend. Reached out to me. He was like, I don't think we should be friends anymore. And to be quite honest, all 3 of them told me they didn't want to have a relationship with me anymore. It doesn't hurt my feelings because, Craig, at the time, there's no way I could have told them I don't want you in my life anymore, because I'm so giving, because I'm so nurturing, because I want to save every goddamn body. In my brain, I'm like, if I tell him to get out my house, or if I tell my mom, or if I tell my best friend X, Y, and Z, who gonna be out there to take care of them and that's gonna tolerate them and make sure that they gonna get, oh yes, that's not my job.
Yeah, because you can't say Jesus saves. You can't save nobody.
You're absolutely right.
That was one of the things that I learned. I wanted to give the people that are listening and you another example of what I was talking about things happening in the physical realm, paralleling things that happen in the spiritual realm. Because it's not just about love. That's just not relative to love. So, for example, in the physical realm, a lot of people lost their job because of the pandemic. The pandemic was the reason. Or they lost their home because of finances or whatever. Like, there are circumstances that happen right here on earth. But those reasons parallel something greater. Those things are designed to move you in a different direction. And so if you lost your house or your job or your finances or whatever it is because of the economy or whatever is going on, hopefully that experience grew you and you got to a new realization, or you changed careers, or you went back to school, or you started your own business. Those things happen because what paralleled in the spiritual realm. And so I live my life like that. Like I don't live in regret anymore. I understand that everything is designed to grow me. The universe is always conspiring to work on my behalf, whether it's a dream, whether it's a goal that I have set in mind. Like, the universe is conspiring to make that shit happen as quickly and as efficiently as possible. There's nothing that I can do to expedite the process. All I can do is do my part, which is whatever my gift is, whatever my talent is, whatever my contribution is. But sometimes we try to force the current. We try to rush things. We try to rush love. We try to rush owning a business. We try to rush fame or whatever it is that you're aspiring to do. But it all happens when and as it should. You can't force the current. The only thing that will happen is you will frustrate yourself and you'll slip into a depression because you're trying to manipulate things. You can't connect the dots to success or to life any faster than God, the universe, wants it to happen for you, period. That could be having children. I know there are a lot of women. Oh, my biological clock, I got to have kids. Anything that you chase will elude you. If you're chasing money, you'll always be broke. If you're chasing love, you'll always be by yourself and agonizing over it. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So it's just one of those things that you just have to trust, believe, and know that the universe is sending things your way, whatever that is.
You know, one of the biggest things I'm most happy about is that I'm loving myself and I'm giving myself attention, and I'm all these things that I was given so freely to everyone else and they were not appreciated. Craig,
yeah.
If I fucking told you the shit that I was doing because I loved somebody, because you're my best friend, or you're my mother, or you're my partner, like the stuff that I was doing. And my therapist explained it to me, because I'm not a very money type person. Like, people rarely hear me talk about money because I don't think it's tasteful and shit like that. I think it's so tacky to brag and post it. I think it's so fucking tacky. And I mean, you know, I don't give a fuck. I really think anybody who feels the need to overshare their wealth and stuff like that, you trying to pacify some shit. Because listen, and just in context of this conversation only,
I'm really reading between the lines. But
No.
listen, I want to say this to that though. Real money never speaks money. Believe that.
Well, you know what? I'll say this. Craig over here, Craig makes so much money, y'all. So much money, y'all. Craig makes a lot of fucking money. I'm not going to say the number, but Craig makes a lot of money. But Craig because it's whatever. But anyway, I done got on a tangent. Our revenue comes from our thoughts, our brains, our hard work, me getting up, going to go film, goddamn a bunch of scenes for a WeTV show, and they cut out 75% of them. Me getting up, going to edit, me doing all this, and my therapist explained to me, she said, you were sharing your work, you were sharing your energy, you were sharing your failures, you were sharing your successes every time you gave somebody $1, each and every time you did it. And she said, you have to be careful when you do that, because if you do that to someone who doesn't appreciate it, you're going to feel like how I did, like unappreciated. You're going to feel used. You're going to feel drained. You're going to feel bad at the end of it. And the most hurtful thing I would say that I take away from all the experiences is, Craig, it's very hurtful when people it's very hurtful when people you fed, when people you've clothed, when people you've housed, when people you've hired, when people you've rescued, when people you've helped, when people you've nurtured, when people you've connected to another situation to help them out of pure love, out of pure love, to hear them lie on you, to have people not appreciate you, Craig, that was really the most painful thing. Like, there's a whole bunch of things in all of my relationships that shit I didn't fucking want to do or didn't feel like I fucking should be doing it. But because I loved you, and to me, love is patient, love is kind, love endures all things, love is not envious, that's what love is. You're supposed to be there for people. And in my brain, I'm like, if this was ever my situation where I'm drunk and in the fucking middle of nowhere and I don't know where the fuck I am, I would want somebody to come rescue me. Or if my car got fucking totaled and somebody who's connected to me could help me, I would want them to help me, and I couldn't. And so I just, in so many situations, I'm always thinking, if this was me, what is it that I would do? Not because the people deserved it, because to be quite honest, and I'm not going to even go into that tangent because it's in that type of lie, not only did people not do anything that fucking say they didn't deserve it, they did everything that told me they did not deserve it. Mm-hmm. I just always thought about, if this was me, when this was me, if I love on this person, that'll change them. That'll make them warmer. That'll make them know, like, it's real love out here. You don't have to be mean. You don't have to be closed-minded. You don't have to be so cold. You know, Craig, like, one of the things I feel like God has blessed me with is the ability to make people smile. And the gift came from me experiencing his joy and love. There's a lot of things that I won't go into detail now that I experienced at a very young age that I shouldn't have experienced at a very young age, that people came in and helped me out. You know, it changed my life. Oprah Winfrey, and I'm pretty sure that bitch is of course she's a billionaire. She's not even thinking about the little however much money it costs to send me to Morehouse, but that woman does not know how much that shit changed my life for the better. Yeah. Me getting the opportunity to go to Africa at such a young age and seeing firsthand what other people go through, and seeing firsthand it's not all about how you think about stuff. There's other people out there in the world that are going through certain things and live their life, and you can't be so selfish and think the way you view everything is the way it should go. And it's like, having all those experiences, I've always been like, if people can feel this joy and happiness that I feel on the inside, maybe it'll help them out, because it helped me. And in having that attitude, Craig, I placed myself again in toxic situations that were chaotic, that I was trying to make sense out of. And I'm steadily, Craig, I didn't even know I was deteriorating.
Mm-hmm.
I was drinking more. I was smoking more weed. My productivity was getting low. And in relation to my ex, I always wanted him to be better.
But what good is your
I
hope
always
if
wanted him to
he
be
is?
better. I always wanted him because, again, speaking to trauma and all the other stuff, I used to tell him, me and you come from the same place. We've gone through the same exact things. Look at my life and let that be an example that if you put in the work and you're a good person and you do the right thing, you can change. You can change. You're sitting front row, seeing all these conversations happening, hearing these phone calls, seeing all these things go, like you're seeing this firsthand. This can happen for you, Craig. And a lot of my mistake was I did not know when to stop. And my response was to keep on giving. Craig, I ain't gonna go into details about everything because I just don't want to do that. But just, when I was on Chase in Atlanta and I wanted everybody to know I had a boyfriend, I told them, when y'all introduce him as my boyfriend, but also show all his dance and stuff because that'd be good for him. He told me he wanted to start a business. I went and got the equipment and started the business.
Hold it. See, that's why I was saying we sometimes do too much. If that was
too much.
his dream, that was his dream. He should have gone and gotten the equipment. It's one thing to assist. It's something completely different when you're doing it for the person. And a friend of mine used to say all the time, what good is my hope? Like you were telling him, you have a front row seat. We're from the same place. If I'm doing it, you can do it. But a friend of mine used to say all the time, what good is your hope when their hope is to be who they are? You can't dream a bigger dream for someone than they dream for themselves. You understand what I'm saying?
This is so true. I had to learn that.
Right. So it would have been one thing if you said to him, well, listen, I'll assist you buying this equipment or whatever it was that he needed, but you need to repay me the money. Because that's his dream. That's not your dream. It wasn't your job to do it. And see, and it's just like with anything else. Like when you start doing too much for people, even if you take the example of like little children, when you buy little children sneakers and that kind of thing, they don't take care of it. But as soon as it's their own money, they appreciate it more, they value it more. It's the same thing with people in a relationship. You can't do it all for them.
And on top of like picking up a lot of the slack, because I'm making excuses for you and I'm allowing you to make these excuses. Those things, there were also moments of emotional abuse going on that I really didn't know until afterwards when I went to my therapist. And it had got to a point where I told him, I said, you know, I said, is it okay with you if I start recording our conversations? Like, I really, because I would find myself, we would talk about things, and later on, I'll be like, well, that's not what we talked about, or that's not what I said, or that's not what happened. And again, not to make him sound bad, but Baby Boy used to do a whole lot of redirection and deletion of things to fit into and to fit into his thing. Like, bitch, I'm a realist. Let me tell you something. A bitch can never read me because I'm gonna tell you my business before you can even say it. I ain't never been afraid of a spanking. Never. As a matter of fact, because and this is letting people in a little bit on my psyche, because I am a leader and I stay when I want to be a boss. Spank me first. Whoop me first. Tear me to pieces first.
What does emotional abuse look like? Because
what did it look like? What did it look like in my situation?
Yeah.
Emotional abuse looked like in my situation. There would be moments where instead of him coming out and saying, Eddie, this is what I want from you, or telling me what's on his mind, he would allow himself to get upset, and then he would react. And on the outside, I'm looking in like, girl, what's going on right now? What didn't happen? And he'll be like, X, Y, and Z, X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, well, hey, if you just would have told me in the moment that it could have been fixed. Craig, you've seen me in intense situations, like firsthand. The internet has seen me in my top model chats in tense situations firsthand. My first reaction is to de-escalate.
Right.
Hey, what can we do? Okay, I'm sorry. You want an apology? That's gonna put peace back in the world? Okay, I'm sorry. All right. I'm probably one of the most easiest people you could come talk to about anything. I'm not gonna curse you out. I'm not gonna get puffed up. I'm going to listen to you because I may have done something wrong and I may need to apologize for something. But like there was one situation where I was at home working and he had expressed to me that he wanted to go out. And so I could already tell he was kind of in a funk. Maybe we had got into it the day before. I can't really remember. But he had gone out with his gay mother and he texted me while he was out. He said, hey, can we go to a bar later on? I said, of course, we surely can. So between him coming home or me going out to meet up with him at the bar, later on that night, we had already agreed to go to this party. And it was a networking party. So I had already said I needed to get ready. Me getting ready is getting clothes, calling the makeup artist over here, shaving my head, getting my things together. Because at this point, I filmed Chasing Atlanta. I filmed the T.S. Madison Experience. I'm doing sponsorships, endorsements. I'm doing my own thing. So everybody knows around me when I say I got to get ready tonight, what that encompasses. So my makeup artist was already coming. One of my best friends popped up and my cousin popped up. Now this best friend and cousin are a part of me and him, like our hang. You know, this people we hang with, we vibe with, we chill with, we have a good time. And so, but they just popped up. And so I texted him, I said, hey, I know you wanted to go out and have a good time tonight. My cousin and my friend have popped up. I know you like to hang out with them sometimes. Can you tell me what your idea of us hanging out was? He said, it's okay. He said, no, just let him say it's okay. Well, he came home later, spoke to everybody, ain't speak to me. And everybody in the room noticed. So I'm sitting like, I'm trying to play it off like da-da-da-da. So we all getting ready. We said we're going to go out. He says, well, I'm not going to go out. I'm gonna stay because I got to go to work early in the morning. So I was like, well, that's not what you said earlier, because what would you, okay, whatever. He said goodnight to everybody, didn't say goodnight to me. So I'm like, girl, what's going on? And so once we got in the room, we started having a conversation. He was like, well, I felt like if you really wanted to spend time with me, you just would have told them to go home. And I was like, well, I asked you what you wanted me to do. And it was a lot of conversations like that. A lot of situations where he assumed I should have read his brain or known. And because I didn't do what he felt or what his brain felt, I felt something else, or that's not what I really meant. When my experience is, well, I'm just doing naturally what I'm doing. If there's something that you want me to do different or want me to know more about, all you got to do is come tell me. And we would have this talk all the time. I'm like, you know, all of this could have been avoided if you just would have told me. And a lot of times I would get in arguments with him, like fiery arguments with him, having this thing like, all you had to do was tell me. And now I'm having to defend myself because you're villainizing something that I did that could have been avoided if you just would have just opened up your mouth and spoken to me. Emotional manipulation looks like coming to someone with a problem, and I'm telling Craig, when you posted that photo today, it made me feel away, and I didn't like what you did because it made me feel this way. Mm-hmm. Craig begins to say, well, Oliver, I posted it because of X, Y, and Z. And Oliver saying, or not accepting your experience of it and sticking to, because you did X, Y, and Z, you must have meant X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, well, I understand your rationale. I'm sorry, but that wasn't my intention. He will always tell me, every time you do that, it feels like you're not listening. It feels like you're not taking responsibility. It feels like you're not saying you're sorry. And I'm like, well, it's not that I'm not saying I'm sorry, but if you have a different experience of something that I did, at least I feel like it's okay to say, well, that wasn't my intention, or this was my experience when this was going on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. Sounds like he lacked emotional maturity. But my question is, do you think he resented you? And the reason that I'm asking that is because...
Oh, yes.
And the reason I'm asking you that is because when you and I had a phone call, we had a FaceTime call, and I said to you, I remember distinctly saying to you, this is why it's important to be with someone who loves what they do and someone who can be proud of you. Because see, the truth is, people can fall in love with your dreams. People can fall in love with your ambition and not be in love with you. And what I said to you that day on that FaceTime call was, it sounds like it was really hard for him to sit there with the front row seat watching you live out your dreams and not know what he was going to do with his own life.
And we're having an honest conversation. And again, I'm saying all these things not to drag nobody. I'm saying all these things to educate somebody out there. So if you're in a situation, you can get out of it, or you don't get in situations because you know the telltale signs and stuff like that. Because I wish somebody would have told me, because I would have made decisions sooner if I would have had the vocabulary, all the things I've been getting from therapy that helped me identify certain behaviors. I would have made decisions quite earlier. But I remember a couple of things. I remember, and I always got the authentic sense he was very proud to be with me. And he used to tell me all the time, "You're so beautiful. You're so talented. What is it?" I remember one time we were sitting in the kitchen, and it was something like random. And he was like, "What is it that you can't do? What is it that you can't do?" I was like, "I don't know. I'm just being me. Shit, I don't fucking know." And I remember this year we talked, and I said, "What is it that you want to do in life?" And he said, "I don't know. I do not know." And I do think he struggled seeing me grow from where he first met me to where I am now. So much has happened in my little life in a year's time. So much has happened. And I think because he was unhappy with himself and where he was in life,
it's hard for him to be happy for you.
It's hard. And you know what, Craig? I identify with that because at one point in time, it was hard for me to be happy for other people, especially, some people that I felt like didn't deserve it or stuff like that. And it was not until I feel like I got to a place where I didn't look to the left, I didn't look to the right. I just looked at myself and in front of me, and I became okay with where I was. And I was honestly happy for everybody else, is when blessings honestly started coming my way. And then also too, after a while of like us always arguing, me steady doing like shit that as a grown 30-year-old man, you should know how to do, or at least be interested in trying to find out how to do it. But because he didn't know how to do it, and a lot of things too, Craig, I didn't realize was at the state it was until I got with him. Like, until I saw it firsthand, like, okay, all right. I started backtracking a lot of stuff. Like, I started removing myself from a lot of things. And I told him, I said, if you don't want me to be so upset with you or change towards you, I have to start removing myself from a lot of things, because I'm doing all these things out of love for you, trying to make your life better, trying to help you as you try to help yourself, but you're not being emotionally sensitive to me. You feel like it's okay to talk to me any type of way. Craig, and again, he may have the experience that I was an evil bitch, which he may have a bunch of reasons why I was horrible, evil, and all those other things. But one thing I always try to do was put the best foot forward. I'll never forget the day I told him, I said, we need to go to therapy. He turned to me and said, basically, he felt offended that I said he needed to go to therapy. But in my brain, I said, well, I didn't say you. I said, we need to go. And he told me, you needed to go to therapy, and he already know what he needed to do for himself. And he walked out the door. He came back when he walked out the door. I'm
So,
sorry.
so I'm a big believer that for every single thing that you can learn about someone else, there are three things that you can learn about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things that I'm hearing is, again, the question is again, what do you think you're going to do differently moving forward? Because the fact that he was emotionally manipulative, you overlooked the cheating thing that happened in the beginning.
He used to lie a lot too for no goddamn reason. No goddamn reason. No goddamn reason. Like,
Yeah,
and
but
it's like,
I think a big part of the um, a part of your success in going through this and coming out on the other side unscathed is really figuring out why you allowed yourself to shrink a bit. Sometimes people shrink in terms of, here's the thing. Let me just say this to you. I have this thing that I say all the time. See, you got to know your name. Once you know your name, you don't give a damn what nobody in the comments is saying. You don't give a damn what nobody in your family is saying, your friends are saying. When you know who you are, when you know your name, you don't give a damn about that other shit. Like, people will say, oh, Craig, you're cocky. No, I'm not cocky. I'm just confident. There's a fine line between confidence and cockiness. And I think what happens with us as Black people, we sometimes accuse people of being cocky because we don't know how to handle their confidence, right? And we're taught as a community, not to celebrate our own success. I used to have a friend that I couldn't even celebrate anything. When I got accepted to college, I couldn't even go to her and say, oh my God, I got accepted to such and such.
oh, child, I got a cousin back at home who's still mad at me over some shit because I was an overachiever and that bitch can't get her life right.
You need to remove
None
anybody.
of them call me. I said it.
You need to remove anybody from your life that doesn't allow you to celebrate. Because there's a fine line between celebrating your success and bragging. There's a difference between the two.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and so if you don't feel, and that goes true for your relationship. Like, you want to be with somebody that can accept and embrace all of your glory.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm gonna tell you, I'm not shrinking for nobody.
Well, you know what, Craig? And I did shrink. I did. Because I never wanted to come off to other people. Because
when you know your name, Oliver. When you know your name.
Let me talk through it so the people who are in the position that I was in can realize it and they can get some verbiage to talk themselves through it.
Okay.
I did understand how other people viewed me. And, you know, I did. Now, when I take all things in consideration, that's like you said, it's certain things that would never happen again, at least not that way to me again in life. But I'm looking at Oliver on the outside end. Okay, chasing Atlanta. Whoever watches it, millions of views, millions. I'm growing a creative content business. I'm performing. I'm getting booked. I'm performing next to people like Lakaty 47, Bobby Lights, Duran Bernard. I'm opening up for Dreezy. I'm traveling around the world. I'm on WeTV. Tyra Banks calling me. My YouTube is getting, so I'm taking all these things in, and I'm like, I never want people around me to feel like I think I'm better than them, or I feel like I can't be corrected.
That's not your business.
Mm-hmm.
That's not your
I know
business.
that now.
That's not your business, and that's not your responsibility, because no matter what you do, people are going to still have whatever thought they have about you. You understand what I'm saying? So even if you walk through the world with your head down, you understand what I'm saying? Like, I've had people say, oh, you just think, no. If you expect me to walk with my head down so that you can feel comfortable, you got me and life fucked up. I'm not doing that. So I just hope that, you know, those are some of the lessons that you get. And here's the thing. Whatever you're looking for is also looking for you. So if you want a relationship that's healthy, emotionally healthy, it can happen. But when you start feeling those things, those uncertainties, like with the whole situation with him sleeping with the ex or the best friend or whatever it was, and you finding out about it early on, your spirit had already given you the answer. You ignored it. But again, obviously in the spiritual realm, you needed these lessons. And the only way that you were going to get these lessons was to go through everything that you went through in that relationship. So hopefully you'll grow from it and you'll be better because of it.
I do want to include this because I was not perfect. I was not perfect. Do I honestly think that I started a lot of things? Hell the fuck no. No, I didn't. No, I did not. Like it was a lot of fucking shit going on, but I had deteriorated to such a point. Craig, I started fighting him.
Yeah.
Because I just felt like I had just got to a place, honestly, and I'm gonna speak very, very candid right now. Bitch, I'm doing shit that your mama has never even done for you. I'm staying up all fucking night editing videos and going live and doing all this shit because I know that it may come a time where you gonna call me like, I need this X, Y, and Z, and we gotta fucking do it. You talking to me any type of way, all these things that we agree on and say that we're gonna do to make our relationship better, I'm ready to do it. I can't even get you to get out the bed and come pray with me. I can't even get you to get out of the bed and come watch a church service with me. Things that are going to fix our relationship. Mm-hmm. You feel like it's okay for you to, if you upset today, you feel like it's okay not to speak. You feel like it's okay for you to do all these things. And then when we get into it, you want to talk to me any type of way, and you coming at me. My Napoleon complex woke up, and I was there was this one time where there was this one time where he started arguing with me in a grocery store, and people turned around and noticed it. And while I am one to retreat, my immediate thing in the face of conflict is let me back down from this. Let me show myself to not be an aggressor right now, to let them know that I just want peace. Bitch, after a while, like with Madison, I was like, okay, girl, it's all right. What does it give it? And instead of doing that to him, I just walked away. I called the Uber. I left him standing right there. I called the Uber, and I went home. And then he was like, well, you should never walk away. And all I'm like, well, I'm steady telling you, we should be having this conversation right now. And people are looking at us. Why would I want to do this with you? And so we have been going back and forth. And so he left and came back, right? And so I was in the shower. It was his birthday. And so I texted him. I said, I really want you to have a great birthday. Come back. Let's try to restart and do all that. So I remember he was sitting on the couch. We had already had this fucking shit. I've already fucking apologized for the whole goddamn grocery store situation. That was not my fucking fault. And so I come out here. I say, is there anything that you would like? He said, no, I'm good. Because I hadn't pissed him off. So I was like, okay. I said, is there anything you want to do right now? He said, no, I'm good. I said, is there anything you want for me to do right now? He said, no, I'm good. I said, okay, well, I'm going to sit over here and I'm going to sit at my island and do work. And you let me know when you're ready to talk. And so about 3 minutes go by. And all of a sudden, I just hear, why the fuck I came back? And I was like, huh? What's going on? And he was like, basically, if I really wanted to change the night and all that other stuff, I shouldn't have had to ask him what it is that he wanted. I should have just done it. And I'm sitting there like, I just asked you 3 times what it is that you wanted from me, what it is that you wanted to do, is there anything you can do? And you said nothing. The moment, and I asked, I said, so is that you want me to do nothing? He said, yeah. So I've asked you all these things, and when I do exactly what it is that you want me to do, you're screaming at me, Craig. He was rolling up. Oh my God, I felt so bad. Ooh, Craig, I felt so bad. He was yelling. Craig, he was rolling up weed. See, it was too much weed in the situation. I don't even want to see no lettuce in my house, okay? He was going that we had a petri dish. He was yelling, Craig. I took that thing and hit him upside the head so hard. And I still feel so bad. I say all this to say I had allowed myself
to become someone that you weren't.
No! To become something that I wasn't. Craig, I remember at one time I was afraid of weed, and the only way I could tolerate and be in the house with him if I had taken a puff. Craig, you've never even seen me do this. I remember when fucking I even called me. Fucking I even called me one time, and I was in the bed smoking, and fucking was like, "Look, girl, what you doing?" He said, "Look, girl, what you doing?" I said, "Smoke." He said, said, when you started smoking? And I was just like, X, Y, and Z. But it just, Craig, it had just got so bad. But I was like, well, maybe it'll get better. Maybe it'll get better. Maybe it'll get better. But it never did.
Well, I just hope that you recognize the signs moving forward.
Yes. Yes.
You know?
Yes.
And you don't allow yourself to stay in it long past due. You know.
I've talked about all the bad stuff, but I am very grateful for my relationship because even though we're talking about the bad stuff, and of course the bad stuff led to us breaking up. 2021 up until now has been the busiest time that I've ever had, and when we were on good terms, it was really good. It was so good. It was so good. He would clean up the house. He would help me get ready for set. He was, when he wanted to be a helping hand, he was a helping hand. He really was. That was someone I loved. That was my best friend. He was my best friend. He was. At that time, he was. It could have been birthed out of fucked up reasons and a fucked up foundation that I understand, accept, and acknowledge. But at the time, that was someone who was the closest thing to me on this earth. And when he left, I was shattered. But most importantly, I will say, we had somebody else when the world was in turmoil, when the world was outside caving in and people was dying and living by themselves and stuff like that. I had someone, he had someone that was there with them going through that. I don't know what life would have been for me if I was in this goddamn house by myself during the fucking pandemic while the riots were going on outside of our goddamn apartment and all that other stuff. Those are things I am grateful for. I am grateful for, and I'm most grateful for that I've grown to a place now where I know about boundaries. I know about not tolerating shit. I know to look for certain signs of this won't be a healthy situation, or this person may not be in the state in their life where they can be beneficial to you in a relationship. I know when, bitch, I've reached my limit and I've reached my max, and this is something that I can't fix. I can't help it. I can't do anything. I gotta backtrack. I need to get out of it. I need to say no. I need to separate myself. All those tools, all that verbiage, all that knowledge I now have. And it did take that relationship for me to get it because I didn't have it before. I didn't.
Right. Well, listen, you know I'm always here as an ear, but I need to go situate my situation.
Ooh!
Because I'm sitting here.
Craig, leave the people with something nice.
Huh?
Leave the people with something nice.
Leave you with something that I didn't give you everything I got.
I mean, just close it out.
What I would say to you is the thing that I've learned about relationships, you spoke a lot about the pain and the emotional stuff. Don't allow it to scar you so that when you go into the next relationship, that you don't really allow yourself to really enjoy it and bask in it and breathe it all in. Because, you know, when I experienced an emotional pain, it was hard for me to really, really enjoy the next relationship that came after that. Because I was always waiting for that person to let me down, right? And so I didn't really want to celebrate it. I didn't want to really, you know, be too excited about it. I didn't want them to know how much I liked them or I was into them or whatever, because I was just afraid. That was just my emotional, that was my wall, my emotional wall. But now I go into it with a full open heart, not from day one. I'm not saying day one, but you know, you allow a person to come into your life and really take space in your life. And so I've done that. And what I'm very clear is that I can survive anything, even another heartbreak. And so can you. Like, you can survive anything. So don't ever be like so afraid, you know, to be in it and to, you know, to enjoy it. Because if you're gonna go into it like that, then there's no point in being in it. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times people say, well, I'm ready for my relationship, but you're really guarded. People can sense that. People can sense if you're a block of ice, people know you're a block of ice. and if you're really guarded, right? So my advice is always to sit still, be single, work through your shit, because we all have it. And even after you work through that shit, once you get into the relationship, new shit is gonna come up for you to work on, because there's certain stuff that's gonna appear once a person comes into your life. It's not even gonna present itself until somebody shows up. Because again, like I said at the beginning of the conversation, the people that we get into relationships with mirror us and the things that we need to work on. And the only way that we can get to work on that stuff is if somebody shows up. So even while you're single, you're cleaning yourself up, just know that there's another level of growth in, once you get into it with somebody. And just be open for the lessons. That's what the relationships are about. Be open to the lessons.
Mm-hmm. And that is the most exciting thing that's going on. Like, I'm in a way, 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 way better place than I was a month ago, 2 months ago, 3 months ago, 6 months ago. I feel I again am appreciative of that relationship, because there were so many things about me that I did not know I was suffering from, because it wasn't manifesting itself in certain ways. So I didn't know. And it's caused me to take an inner look into myself and really do the work, trying to uncover, trying to reconcile, trying to figure out, trying to be at peace with things, trying to set up new things in my life that won't take me back to this place, so that I can live a healthy life, healthy life. And Craig, I am proud that, like I said, he texted me today. Eddie, a month ago, 2 months ago, would have been, crying, been like, oh, I want to see you, I want you to come home, and all that stuff. I had a conversation with him, and I left it at that. Men have come in my life, girls talking to things and the things, and I'm just like, well, certain situations and different factors have come up, and I'm exercising the growth that I speak of, and that really, really makes me proud to know that I'm finally sticking up for myself and making sure that I'm being responsible for myself, so that I can live a healthy, fruitful life.
Do you think that if he said to you, okay, listen, I got it, I know what I did wrong, I want to come home, what do you say?
No. In order for me, and I don't hate him, because I honestly don't think he did anything on purpose. I honestly, truly believe he did the very best that he could at that time.
You sure that there's nothing that he could say?
I would have to see change, Like, I text.
Oh, so you still aren't clear.
Oh no. Damn it, I wish I could read the text message. Huh?
So he could still come back.
No, he cannot.
You said
in order for me to say yes, you could come back, I would have to see that he is now an open-minded person, that he has integrity, that he is living life by himself, fully by himself, that he has an open mind, he's not being selfish, and we would have to date for a substantial amount of time for me to see that this isn't just something that's be done. Listen, Craig, I've done so much work. I've spent a lot of money with therapists. I spent a lot of time crying. I spent a lot of time trying to do this work. Bitch, I'm not undoing it. I don't give a fuck what on the inside is going on. I don't give a fuck. I'm moving forward. I can't go back. That's not what the man above wants for me. He don't want me to
all right, well, if you're saying all of this, then you shouldn't be saying, well, I would have to seek change.
I mean, I guess so. No,
I'm saying, if you're saying you're moving forward and this, that, and the third, then the previous sentence shouldn't be, well, I would have to seek change in order for him to come back.
Oh, okay. I accept that.
All right. Well, listen, thank you guys.
Well, explain it to me, just so I can make sure I understand. For me, in order for him to come back, or for us to entertain a relationship, I would have to see all the things that were problems worked on. But you're telling me don't do that. Tell me, educate me, because I'm
Well, I'm just here to advise. It's not.
No, yeah, advise.
Yeah,
Advise.
It's not for me to tell you what you should
Craig,
do.
advise.
But it's not for me to tell you what you should do.
Yeah. No, I'm listening.
It's not for me to tell you what you should do.
Uh-huh.
What I'm saying though is, from my perspective, I
Okay.
feel like you've gotten all of the lessons that you're supposed to get out of that, and that needs to pass. I think you need to move on. Like I just was telling my assistant today, she was dating a guy, and long story short, he lied about something, and now they're trying to reach some sort of resolve. But you've already met your resolve. You've already had your resolve. And I think sometimes things can be so painful for us because we don't let go when we're supposed to let go. I think every relationship has its expiration date.
Correct.
Either because we both gotta die, or because it's run its course. And I believe that, just from my perspective, I believe that relationship has run its course.
Okay, I got you.
But sometimes we can punish ourselves by putting ourselves back in that situation because it feels familiar, because of the nostalgia, because I still love him. You can love him, but you can love him from over there. Just because you love him doesn't mean you need to be back in a relationship with him. And he certainly don't need to be back in your house.
Craig, he can't come back here. I thought I said that. No. Am I contradicting myself?
You said it, but then you said, well, I'm gonna have to see some change, you know.
I mean,
and it's okay for you to be ambivalent right now. That's part of the grieving process.
Well, no. Let me rephrase it, because I don't want the things to be misconstrued. Do I currently have the desire to be with him? No, I do not. Do I currently have the interest to be with him? No, I do not. When he contacted me today and reached out, I was like, just checking on you. Nothing about the situation made me want to say, ooh, I want to see, I'm interested in all those things. No.
But late in the midnight hour, they get the texting and calling and talking all low on the phone. And
No. However, I thought, in you asking me would we whatever, I was like, in order for me to do that, I would have to see change. I would have to see consistently change behavior in the things of yesterday. So I think I kind of got confused. But no, it's not. It's Craig, again, this is the hardest thing I've ever gone through in life. Yeah. This is the hardest thing I've ever gone through in life. Yeah. I'm not sacrificing the peace that I've got. I literally have fought for and cried for right now for anything that does not show me is worthy of my time, energy, and peace, and all the things I have to offer to this world. Nothing. Honestly, truthfully, like, it's not even like getting off this, ooh, I'm still looking at, like, no. I thought you were asking me, like, if, I don't know what I thought you asked me.
Right. All right, well, listen, you guys going over to CraigTheWriterStewart.com and purchase Book of Jewels. It will definitely enrich your life. But listen, you guys have an amazing night. Hopefully we said something that you'll hold on to, and it will serve you in your own life. But yeah, Oliver, thank you for this. I think definitely people will heal and learn and grow from this. That's my
It's like, why are y'all still texting? We don't text. I don't even have his number. His number's out of my phone. He DM'd me, and it went into the request, one thing, and I just saw it. I was like, oh, okay.
Well, here's one other thing that I would say. See, when you know your name and you reach a certain age, you don't even have access to me no more. See, once you really get clear about who you are, they don't even get access to you. They can't even gain access to you. But you're growing. You'll get there.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
One day, as time goes on, I won't be as nice anymore. That's my fucking problem. I'm so goddamn nice.
It's okay to be nice, but you gotta know how to be firm.
But one day I will get to the place where I'll be like, fuck this hoe, I don't want to talk to her no more. She can't talk to me no more.
No, it's okay to be nice. You just gotta be firm. You gotta know how to be firm too. That's all. But save this live so I can upload it on my YouTube channel.
I told you I'm gonna download it and send it to you because I knew it was gonna be 2 hours long, and it can't. Instagram got firewalls and all this other stuff.
I didn't think it was gonna be 2 hours long.
I didn't think it was gonna be 2 hours long either. I feel great. I really feel great. I was so nervous. Nervous.
I know, when you texted me and said that, I was just like, oh my God.
But thank you so much for doing such a great job, Craig.
You're welcome. Thank you. See how I was being very professional. I wasn't being silly.
No, you did a great job. You're a great person. Well, you're not being a bitch. When you're not being a cunt. I love you, Craig. I love you so much. I love you.
All right, I love you too.
Good night, everybody.